Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today is the day 15 for our PCNSA series. So in this video, we are going to talk about security policies. Okay. So as we have already covered about layer 2, layer 3 interface, tap interface, and also vWire interface, right? So in this particular video, we'll talk about how a security policy, how can we make a security policy, right? This is the initial thing that is needed once you go into the production. Okay, so in this video we are going to talk about what is security policy, how many type of security policy or security rules can be configured in Palo Alto, right? How can we optimize, what is the best practice that we can see in this particular video when it comes to security policy, creating a security policy, and how can we process any firewall policy change in the production. So let's say if you get a request to implement a security policy, what are the parameters that you need to check to implement a new policy, or how can you find a policy which is already exists. So all these things I'll be covering. So this is very much practical, guys. I'll recommend you to please watch this video till then so that you can understand, you can basically, this is the initial task you guys will be getting once you get into the production. And also I'll request you to please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you never miss any video from me. So without any further delay, let's get started. So friends, let's understand what is security policy. With the help of this particular diagram, we'll try to understand. Before that, let's understand what is security policy. Security policy is some kind of conditions, right? So what a condition means over here is, I have put it some statements, some conditions, some criteria that are fixed, that this is the IP address, this is the source IP address, or this is the destination IP address, or this is a source port or destination port, something like that. So I've put it some condition. If that condition comes, or if it matches this particular condition, either it can be allowed through the firewall or it can be denied by firewall. Okay. Now the thing is, whenever we create this kind of condition, the conditions will be based on the model that we are having, right? So let's say if I talk about OSI model, right? In OSI model, we have 7 layers. Okay. Originally, we are using TCP IP model, right? In TCP IP model, let's talk about layer 4, layer 3, and so that we can understand properly. In layer 3, we have IP addresses. In layer 4, we have port numbers, right? Now, whenever we are defining a condition, we are taking some of the parameters from layer 3 or some of the parameters from layer 4, and we are specifying. Now, the more features you turn on the firewall, the more things or the more parameters that you can turn on the security policy. So let's say if you want to inspect application, so you have to turn on the application feature, and firewall will start looking at layer 7 information. So accordingly, the conditions parameter will get increased once you turn on those features, right? So security policy is nothing but it is just a condition, and the condition will be created by admin, and also it should be allowed or it should be denied. That will be decided also by the admin. If I'm talking about admin, the security engineer or who is configuring the firewall. Okay. From Palo Alto perspective, you can see the basic criteria that we are having. What is the basic criteria? The source zone and destination zone. Okay. Now, if you want to have a granular criteria, you can put source address, destination address, port number, application, URL category, source user, HIP profile. Okay. So these are the things that you can put to have granular control, which I'm going to talk about in upcoming videos, guys. Okay, so what does it mean? Upcoming videos will be understanding each of these features and will be implementing into security policy, and you will see that there are so many controls that we will be having, right? So for an example, if I talk about source username, so as let's say this is a user who's logging into the network. Now I'll be providing based on his username. No matter if he is sitting in one place or one floor, another floor, or any other places, the access will be based on not on the IP address, it is based on the username, right? So we have control of that particular username. We are not dependent on IP address. So once you turn on the feature, you start understanding the username of that particular machine, right? So this is how we can control the traffic based on the security policy. Okay, so let's understand more about security policy. So friends, let's understand how many types of security policy can be configured in Palo Alto Firewall. So with the help of this diagram, we'll try to understand. There are three types of rules that is configured in Palo Alto Firewall, or we can say security policy can be configured. Now there is intrazone policy, interzone policy and universal policy, right? So what exactly those are, let's understand with an example. For an example, if you want to go from one zone, like the zone A to zone A, means if you are going from same zone to same zone, then you will be creating intrazone policy. Okay, if you want to go from zone 1 to zone 2, like different zones, then you will be creating interzone. Okay, now universal zones are like this. If you are going from, let's say I have zone 1 and I have zone 2. Okay, I have zone 1 and I have zone 2. So I can go from same zone to same zone, and I can go from one zone to different zone. So this is possible, this is also possible, this is also possible. So universal zone meaning that if I edit or if I add both of them, intrazone or interzone, both, then it will become a universal zone. In this particular example, you can see I can go from zone A to zone A, I can go from zone A to zone B to zone A, and zone B to zone B. So for an example, let's say I have called 10 dot. This is just an example, okay? Don't take that as a production example, okay? I'm just giving you for understanding. So let's say 10.0.0.0/8. Going to 10.0.0.0/8. If I have created this particular rule, allow. Okay. So if the zones are same, like if it is going from zone A to zone A, that is also applicable. And if it is going from zone A to zone B, that is also applicable, right? So I am allowing both in intrazone and interzone. Okay, friends, as we have understood about what is security policy, how many type of security policy can be configured, I'll tell you guys like how can we create a security policy, how to put the source, how to put the destination. I'll be telling you, we will be having a practical in another video, but in this particular video I just explained you how a rule looks like. Okay, now as we are going to create the security policy, we have to optimize, we have to manage those particular security policies, right? Let's say the security policy in production, I can tell you every day we will be creating 5, 6, 10 rules like that. It depends on the organization to organization. How, if it is enterprise, every day you will be getting 10, 15 requests, and you have to keep on creating policies. Either it will be applied in the existing policy, or you have to create a new policy. Okay, so now let's say in 1 year time, if you have created thousands rule or maybe more than that, then you have to manage those rules, right? You have to keep on checking that rule is required or not. Is it unnecessary? Is it okay to have it? Okay. Now Palo Alto has given you that particular option to optimize your policies, right? Now you have option, you can check, okay, whether we have any unused rules. Now how can you find unused rules, right? Now you have created a policy, okay, and the policy is not having any hit count. What is a hit count? Hit count is nothing but that rule never got hit by any of the traffic which came to Palo Alto firewall. Okay, so the Palo Alto, one of the traffic comes to Palo Alto firewall, it checks the traffic, okay, it goes, and whenever a traffic matches that particular rule, it will get hit. It will get hit by 1. Like that, the hit count will be 1. If the rule hit count is 0, maybe after 1 month, 2 months or 3 months, meaning that either your rule, whatever the rule that you have created, it is wrong, okay, or else that traffic or that session or that kind of traffic never came to Palo Alto firewall itself. So you have to find a unused rule which never been used till now, right? So to optimize, to get to know about that, the policy optimizer will help you. It'll try to find you the rule which never been used till now. Okay, you have option that you can find it out from 90 days the rules are not used. You can find out from 30 days it's not been used, and you have custom date as well. Like you want to find from last 1 year or 6 months the rule never been used. So you can find out that rule with the help of policy optimizer, which is there in the policy tab. You will see the policy optimizer. Now this is very much relief for the engineers who is managing, or let's say if the Palo Alto is going for audit or your company is under audit, to check all those parameters, checking the standards and all, right? So during that time, if the auditors are coming, you can basically find this way and you can delete unused rules to make compliant the policy, the security policy compliant, right? So this is how you can find the rules, and you can basically optimize them, and you can delete unused unnecessary rules. Okay. So friends, let's understand how in production we should process any firewall request. Okay, so let's understand from best practice. First of all, whenever you get a request, okay, always remember that if it is very specific access, okay, specific access meaning that it has to be on the top. Now whenever you are dealing with wider requests, it has to be in the bottom. It is not that it is at the last, but always remember that always the wider rule always be in the down. So in this way, what happens is the specific rule will always be taken care, or it will be processed first. So the firewall always go from top to bottom, not bottom to top, right? For an example, if I give you an example of, let's say if a source is this one, 10.0/24, and it is going to, let's say 200.1.1.0/24 allowed. Okay, now this is the first rule, this is wider rule. Okay, now I'm going very specific, 192.168 10.1 going to 200.1.1.1, and it has to be allowed. Now think about it, whenever the traffic comes, it checks the rule. It will never come to this particular rule because this rule is allowing always, because it is wider. So always the specific rule should be in the top. If you talk about global rules, that is a different story altogether. If you can understand global rules, If you are not able to understand, just skip it for now. Okay, I'm telling you, always be the specific rule at the top and wider rule at the bottom. Okay, then only that rule will be used or it will be consumed by the Palo Alto firewall. Okay, now let's understand how we can process a traffic, right? Or sorry, not process the traffic, process a firewall request. Okay, now the first thing that we can do is we can do a test policy match. Okay, test policy match, it will be there in the policy security, right? If you go to policy tab, right, and then you go to security tab, in the security tab, if you see at the corner, bottom corner, you will see test policy match. Test policy match, once you open the test policy match, you have to put some of the test criteria. Okay, so user has given you a source IP address, okay, a destination IP address, okay, and destination port number. This is very much required. Okay, and you need 3 details to fill in. So you have to put the source, you have to put the destination, and you have to put the destination port number. This is the 3 criteria, and this is the basic criteria. You have to put this information, otherwise it will not able to find the policy. So once you put the policy, once you put this information, it will try to find out the existing policy which is configured in the firewall. It's not that it will find the specific policy, it also finds a wider policy as well. Now wherever that actually wherever these kind of or this criteria matches, it will actually show all those rules. It's not that when you are putting 192.168.10.1 going to 200.1.1.1, okay, if you put this port number 34443, now it's not that it will look for this, it will also look for some kind of rule which is configured something like this, 10.0/24 200.1.1.0/24 443. So it will also look for the wider rule as well. Okay, so this will actually finds whether the policy exists or not. Let's say if it is not able to find a policy, in that particular case you have to create a policy. Now how can you create a policy? First of all, you have to look for zone. What is zone? Like you have to find the routing table. Okay, now as per the source what you have got, as per the destination that what you have got, you have to find the routing. You have to check the routing. How can you check the routing? Which I have already explained in the layer 3 video. If you want to see that, I will put that particular video in I button. You can just click on I button and you can go and check that particular video. Okay, now routing, you have to check the routing, like from which interface, right, the destination or the source is reachable. You will try to find out the source zone, the destination zone, or source interface and destination interface. Once you find the interfaces, you can find the zone information as well. So once you find the source zone and destination zone, okay, now you can create the policy, because zone information is very much required. I have told in the security policy part. Okay, and then you can put the source IP, destination port number, or if it is required application that then is needed, then you can configure the application as well. So this is how you should be processing a production request, and this is the main thing that you need to know once you start working on firewalls. Okay, and these are the very common tasks you will be getting on daily basis, and you have to perform this. Okay, so this is what I wanted to cover in this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and if you have any suggestion related to my video, you can put it, or you can message me on Instagram, on Gmail, or you can send me an email as well. So wherever you want to get in touch with me, you can find that particular social media handles on about section. Thank you so much, and also I'll request you to please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you never miss any video from me. Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next.